Today, remember this. It's okay to reward yourself for doing difficult things. Maybe you don't need to hear that, but I certainly do. Somewhere along the way, many of us seem to have absorbed this idea that adults shouldn't need encouragement. That if something is worth doing, then we should just do it because it's the right thing to do. Pure discipline, pure willpower. But that's not how we treat anyone else. If a child tidies their room, we praise them. If a dog learns a new trick, we give them treats. When a friend finishes a marathon, we celebrate with them. But for some reason, when it comes to ourselves, we tend to act like needing a bit of encouragement is some kind of moral failing. I, for one, think we should normalize the idea of rewarding ourselves, whether with some free time, a fun activity, some treats, or some cold hard spending money whenever we do a difficult thing. I've recently had to unlearn my own negative attitude about rewarding good behavior because I had this slightly peculiar idea that I thought might help me get out of bed in the morning. Now, I am not a morning person. I never have been, and at this point, I'm starting to suspect that it might just be a core personality trait. I am, however, a person highly susceptible to bribery, and I thought the idea of a small reward might be enough to get me to start obeying my alarm clock and stop hitting snooze repeatedly. Just a little reward, bribe, nothing extravagant. So I started keeping a little stash of chocolates in my bedside table. And whenever my alarm clock goes off and I actually get up out of bed, I get to take my retainer out and eat one. Sometimes that genuinely tips the scales. It stops me from lying there negotiating with myself for 10 minutes about whether or not I should get up and actually just makes me get up. At first, I was kind of embarrassed about this. Certainly by the fact I was doing it at all, but also that it was working. Surely a grown adult shouldn't need chocolate to get out of bed in the morning. But says who, honestly? I've decided it's not something to be embarrassed about. Clearly, because I'm broadcasting it to strangers on the internet. But ultimately, I'm trying to build a habit, and the reward isn't replacing the habit, it's helping me build it. And if I'd happily use a strategy like this to encourage my children, why am I so reluctant to use it to encourage myself? I don't think, to be clear, that every difficult task in life should have a prize attached, tempting as that is. But the lovely thing about habits is that often they eventually become their own reward. I hope to eventually just be able to get up reliably by myself. But while a habit is still fragile and forming, while it's finding its feet, a little encouragement can go a surprisingly long way. It's less about bribery and more about acknowledging effort. Because effort deserves to be noticed, even when there's nobody else around to actually notice it. So today, remember this. You didn't stop being worthy of encouragement just because you became an adult. Sometimes you get to be the person cheering yourself on. A question to take with you. What's one thing that you're trying to get through just on sheer willpower when it might be a little bit easier if you give yourself something to look forward to after? Talk soon.